Well, it was a Gundam-style performance for the home team South Korea in their home soil, beating the Asian giants Japan 17 points to 12 in the second leg of Asia 7 Series finals. It was a brilliant performance. They took the physical challenge against the Japan powerhouse, but what a performance by their winger Sim Jun-si, and scoring those two tries in the far corner. It was a brilliant. We never saw that sort of a celebration in the Asian circuit for a long time, but boy, didn't they deserve that. So well done to South Korea. So, moving on to Sri Lanka, it was not the expected performance by the Tuskers. They finished 5th in the first leg in Hong Kong. They finished 5th in the second leg in South Korea. The only reason is they drew with China this time around 26 all, and against Chinese Taipei in the first leg, Sri Lanka winning that game 45 points to nil convincingly, but unfortunately this time around it was 26 points to 24. That's where they had to face Hong Kong in the cup quarterfinals. Else it could have been Malaysia or Philippines. This is how the score stood at the final minutes. Sri Lanka versus Japan, 47 points to 5 for Japan. And against China, it was 26 all draw. And against Chinese Taipei, that's the game Sri Lanka could have won 20 to 30 points, because in the first leg, it was 45 points to nil in favor of the Tuskers. But unfortunately, Chinese Taipei gave a hard time to in this game. But Sri Lanka just escaped with 2 points margin. And in the cup quarterfinal, going down to Hong Kong once again, 31 points to 12. But winning the plate semi-finals and the plate finals over Philippines and Malaysia comfortably. So the match against China and Chinese Taipei, Sri Lanka have to work a lot, because Sri Lanka will be taking on China in the third leg as well. We saw but Danushka Ranjan coming into this tournament, and he took one-on-one challenge. He took that physical battle, and he did win almost all the collision that he made in contact. But unfortunately, it's not one man's game. We need all the 7 or all the 12 personnels come in and chip in to the win and seal this series. But unfortunately, Sri Lanka finishing once again that 5th spot. They have a lot of work to do in the final leg at this Racecourse International Ground, and they'll be playing with South Korea, China and Chinese Taipei, and they will be definitely targeting the China match and Chinese Taipei match. As a result, they can go for a cup quarterfinal probably with Malaysia or Philippines, whom they can beat convincingly as they did in the first and the second leg. Well, what a performance by Sri Lanka women's team. They finished 5th place. They started where they left. They won the Borneo Sevens Cup Championship back in Malaysia during the March season, and this time they performed really well. They led 12 points to 5 against mighty Chinese women's team in the first half, but unfortunately China came back strong in the second half. Sri Lanka almost to make an history on that game. This is how the score stood for the women's team. Against China, it was 36 points to 12 in favor of China. Against Hong Kong, 28 points to nil, and winning the day one first game 17 points to 7 over the host South Korea. And then in the cup quarterfinals, again Kazakhs 27 points to 7, and Sri Lanka beating Singapore 19 points to 15, and Thailand 24 points to 12. That's how the score read. Also, Sri Lanka beat Thailand ladies last year as well, but this time it was a very good performance. But Kazakhstan, they are the much improved team comparing to last year's performance. They beat Hong Kong in the fourth playoff game as well. But skipper Randika Kumudumali played a monumental game, so as former captain Ayesha Pereira and Tanuja Virakodi all chipping in. There was a team performance in that game, and unfortunately that China game, they will review that game, and they will be looking at how they can improve, how they can make an history beating those giants in the Asian circuit. That would be their task. So it all comes down to the final leg of this Asian 7 Series on 14th and 15th October at this Racecourse International Ground. Sevens is a funny game. We never know what can happen. Even we witnessed Malaysia beating Hong Kong last year's Asian 7 Series in this same venue. So Sri Lanka have to work hard. They are working so hard. But if they can come into the cup semi-finals or into the one of the finals, that would be brilliant performance. Also, the Sri Lanka ladies, they'll be hoping to come 4th or 3rd in this final leg, according to coach Siddharth Sampath. So it's all up to bag in this home soil. Come and witness. That's all we have for the breakdown segment, and we'll be bringing you more updates.